Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight so you don't have to. Wow, this mid-chapter is certainly shaking up to be a more interesting mid-chapter than we were anticipating, isn't it, lads? Mostly due to the undeniable power held by one Lil Miss Mid here. Lil Miss Mid is probably going to be the surprise of the year in terms of a very unexpected rise to an A-tier prevalence. I think it's that fucking good. I think that I honestly think that her fucking new condemned shit is actually better and more consistent than the old one. I think so. Like one guy, like the old one was kind of more 1v1 centric. He had to kind of pick one guy and teleport the TVs over and over again in front of him, get eerie tape to get him back on. Like just kind of tunnel one guy out with it before, which, you know, that could still take a long time. You gave up a lot of map pressure, especially in a post Call of Brine nerf, where you could argue that it could beat good teams in like when it had those perks synergizing with it. But like ever since they nerfed the slowdown a couple patches ago and killed it, this condemned build that used to be in the game was not, it was kind of falling out of favor, undeniably. It was kind of undeniably not as good as it used to be. This new shit, it's beating Swift, bro. This new shit is consistent at a rate you really wouldn't expect. So she has been dominating the conversation, and deservingly so, by the way. But it's like the Nick Cage, like plot twist is a good perk, guys. I had the Swift that I beat with Sadako fucking used plot twist to proc bait for this endurance to force a hook rescue while everybody was injured to avoid having to do the heal. They procced a plot twist made for this play, and that like you can do shit with plot twist, but like. So, but that's not dominating the conversation because of, number one, just the fact that killers are outnumbered in general, and two, this is undeniably powerful, and even the killer mains have to go, this is fucking good. This is fucking good. I give this 3 months max. I really fucking do. I give this 3 months max before the devs fold like they usually do and gut this back. They're gonna send her back to the pits of hell where she came from. Within 3 months, this will be dead. So burn it while you can. Use it while you can. But taking away the conversation from that, it's like what you've noticed these past 2 days, the forums are already cluttered with all of the Survivor buzzwords that would be on their BuzzFeed and the Twitter. It's all over the place. Boring, problematic, unfun, all the fucking shit you'd expect to hear from Survivor mains when something comes in the game that can challenge them and that can make their games harder. You know, all this usual shit is there. It happens every fucking time. And that just makes you think a little bit, doesn't it? Like before Sadako came out, what were the frustrations with killer design, lads? Are there any like 2 or 3 or 4 killers that you can think of that recently have really transformed the way we look at killer and have really like taken some of the core design flaws of the game and have made them into their base kits? Or is there have they mainly incorporated the flaws of Dead by Daylight into their game plan? Are there any 2 killers that you can think of that have done this and had and is there any killer that you can think of that has had an overall fucking negative impact on the way we play this game? Is there any killer that you can think of that has dropped in the past year that has been undeniably awful for the game in every way, shape, or form? Any killer at all you guys can think of that has fucking done that? Anybody? Is there one killer that above any other? Is there any one killer that y'all can fucking think of that is an undeniable piece of shit that everybody fucking can't stand, from the killer players to the Survivor players? Anyone at all? Yeah. Obviously. So Knight a little bit, but I like Knight. I'm gonna let him go. I even though he undeniably has some issues, but DC Merchant, terrible, fucking awful character design from day one. Pure example of Jeff and Almo game design here. Terrible shit, terrible garbage with the way she plays the game. Okay, basically, what Skull Merchant does, and Knight, again, to an extent, Knight's not fully off the hook here, they just embody the flaws of the game. Like, right now, when a Ghostface queues up, when a fucking Freddy, or Doctor, or Myers queue up, fucking Trapper, Billy, Wraith, all these characters, Pig, when they queue up, they walk in the match, Nemesis, they go, oh, well, I need the 3-gen. Where are the 3 fucking closest gens on the fucking map? Okay? That's what they say. The devs said, oh, that's what killers are doing? Let's just make a killer that's really fucking good at doing that in the Skull Merchant, right? Knight to an extent as well. But mostly fucking bitch DC Merchant is the issue here. And then they buffed her and made her worse. Somehow they made her worse to play against when they buffed her. It was incredible. So, my point here is, lads, killers and survivors were pretty in unanimous agreement here that this 3-gen kind of crap is not how the game should be. Survivors, obviously, 3-gens are pains in the ass to deal with, and killers, it's a crime that you have a killer that moves around, and its core character design, like Legion, as flawed as Legion is, a character that wants to be bouncing around, moving between survivor, has to do things that are not really what he wants to be doing to kind of section off 3-gens to kind of do the meta of the game. He has to go against his own design and his own flow to kind of do the meta. That's why Legion's in a fucking terrible spot right now. He's just in a terrible spot because of the fact that this 3-gen meta doesn't really go with the flow of his game, right? That's above everything else. Of course, his frenzy just straight up isn't good and doesn't work, and it's hard to chain still. But that's just another thing that makes him bad. But overall, it's that the character has no flow. Against good teams, the character Legion has no flow. And that can be transferred to Killer as a whole. If your name's not Nurse Blight or Spirit or Wesker or Artist, so the top characters, Twins, all the top characters, the killer just straight up has no flow right now. You just have to kind of camp the hook, section off 3-gens, get people out of the game as fast as possible, etc., right? So we were all talking about how this is trash, right? Okay? And then there's other killers in the game, like, remember Box Pinhead, okay? We have with Sadako's another Box Pinhead situation, where when you played Box Pinhead before he was fucking destroyed by the developers, Box Pinhead is dead. Pinhead as a character is pretty much fucking dead. The developers pretty much fucking killed him, right? He's dead. You can't do box strat anymore. It's gone. You can only pull box strat off against fucking trash. He's trash now. The character sucks. But before they nerfed him, if you go watch some of that gameplay on our channel or anybody else that was running Box Pinhead back in the day, the character had an undisputed flow that let him go around the map, not camp and tunnel. Of course, against like top level Swift, he still kind of needed to, which again, Sadako probably still needs to too. We'll talk about her in a minute. But it's like the character had a certain flow about him. There was a certain way, like it's like you camped, you threw someone on a hook, and then your next play wasn't, okay, now I'm going to stand here for 25 seconds and wait for someone to show up. I'm not going to go 16 meters away and then come back. Like, you're like the other shit that the other killers have to do and kind of section off 3-gens and shit, like that kind of strategy was less a part of his game. His game was fucking, okay, I'm going to get the box, and then I'm going to hold chain hunt as long as I fucking can, and then your gen progress is legit fucking impossible as I hold the box and fucking make sure that you pick it up. I'm right on your fucking ass. Because I have 9 seconds to get over there, when Hoarder gave me a head start, and Franklin's is going to let me knock the box out of your fucking hand to restart the chain hunt, infinite reset. Your gem progress is going to be very hard to actually do anything, right? Pinhead was not a 3-gen killer. And everybody hates 3-gen killers, right? And everybody wants the game to move away from 3-gen killers. The problem with that, for the survivors, is that you need to increase killer power level if you wish to move away from 3-gen killers. You need things like infinite chain hunt Pinhead to fucking move away from a camping, tunneling, 3-gen playstyle. You absolutely need things like fucking Sadako, the way she is right now, to move away from camping, tunneling, and in 3-gen playstyles. This is they found the sweet spot with her and Box Pinhead in terms of the killer power that it would need for you to actually get out of the 3-gen meta that you don't want so bad. You don't want it. We don't want it. Nobody wants it. The problem is, she's not a 3-gen killer. But guess what? On the forums, the bitching's already started. Scott Junn's mouth is already running. Ryuga's mouth is already running. All these bitches, except for True Talent, of course, all of their mouths are already fucking running. They want her deleted after 2 days of existence. They want her condemned strat dead again after 2 days of existence. Okay? The problem, as you can see, the survivors want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't want this in the game, but they don't want 3-gens in the game, but they also don't want things that would actually be actual alternatives to 3-gen killers in the game either. They don't want that. Here, what they want is a fucking trash killer in the game that goes around, chases one guy for fucking 3-gens, doesn't have adequate 1 versus 4, gets it down, hooks the guy, 3-gens pop, the killer doesn't camp, walks away, lets the save happen, and then they get another agenda. Like, they want the killer to play like shit. That's what they want. That's what they fucking want. And if the killer can do anything at all to challenge them, it's bad, okay? What Sadako and Box Pinhead have taught you, if there's any lessons that you can take away from these two killers, it's that survivors don't care about 3-gens. They care about dying. They care about losing. It's not the 3-gen they don't like. It's the fact they're dying. It's the fact you're beating them. That's what they don't like. Because when you actually create killers with enough power to fucking not do 3-gens, when I played Sadako, map management was like the last thing on my fucking mind. Like, what are the gens doing? Like, the state of the gens was like the third or fourth most important thing when you play her. And that's a refreshing fucking change of pace for a killer player lately. When you have shit like fucking DC Merchant and Knight who have to fucking monitor the gens the whole fucking time, and you know what? All the killers pretty much have to do that. The state of the gens is so important right now in this game because you have to force 3-gens with these limited map pressure pieces of shit. These killers that can't fucking move and can't fucking down good teams either, so they have to make the 3 downs they do get count. These killers right here, these killers right here, that when they get to a farm map, they're absolutely fucking horrendous and can't do a fucking thing. Shit like that, right? I don't even know what the fuck I was saying anymore. Like, when you play killer right now, you're stuck with shit like that, where you have to go in and force the 3-gens immediately. That's why Trues like Sadako's the most fucking fun I've had with this game in such a long time, because you walk in and you're not worried about fucking map management the whole fucking time. You can actually worry about going and getting the survivors. You can go and pressure the survivors. It's like, what? Who cares what the gens are like? What are the survivors doing? I need to go see what the survivors are up to. Right? But the problem with Sadako is that she's killing them. Just like the problem with Box Pinhead was the fact he was killing them. That's what was going on. They don't like to lose. Right? That's what it really fucking is. And fucking Oates has the fucking audacity, fucking Oates has the fucking audacity to tell killer mains that all they want is 4Ks every game for wanting good design in the game. Right? Remember when fucking Oates said that? Well, but it's like, you see this every time. Whenever a killer comes out that can challenge them, they bitch. It doesn't matter if it's warranted or not warranted. Right? It doesn't matter. That's not what the problem is. The problem is the survivors are dead, and they don't like the killers that kill them. They want the easy-ass killers like the Trapper in the game that can't do anything. That's what they want. That's what they really want. And they show you that when they bitch about this character. They showed you that when they bitched about this character. Right? This is why the only solution for the devs is to ignore these pieces of shit. Because they don't know what they're talking about. The devs If you're a Dead by Daylight developer, you have to see this contradiction. This contradiction is so fucking important. Because because everyone's been telling these devs for the past 6 months they want killers that move away from this 3-gen idea. Then they get one, and guess what? It's terrible. They get a powerful killer that has moved away from the idea of a 3-gen campy tunnely playstyle, and guess what? They're shitting on it. They will shit on everything you do, devs. That's the thing about survivors. They will shit on everything that you do if they're dying. The killer players have a much, much better way of objectively looking at something. I promise. That's why most of us hate the Skull Merchant. Because objectivity is not fucking difficult for us. I can tell you when something's horrendous game design. Walking up to a generator instead of prioritizing your targets just to throw up drones to section off a 3-gen with 5 gens left is shit Dead by Daylight game design. Shit. It's fucking garbage. A character that is bouncing around, prioritizing their targets, prioritizing their hits, and actually, like, building their condemned through their lethality and their map traversal, and not camping and tunneling as a main thing. Like, Sadako only starts to camp when if the gens start going a little too fast, and they start negating the power through actively gen rushing her. That's when she needs to fall back and camp a little bit. Right? It's not like you walk in with fucking Sadako and you go, where are the 3 fucking gens I need? That's not the first thing you say when you play her. And right now, that is a very refreshing change for the killer players. That we don't have to do that. That's why her pick rate, I'm predicting, is about to go up. Because of the added flow that she brings to the game. A licensed killer with good flow, I think the pick rate's going to go up at least 5%. Now that she's better. Seriously. Absolutely seriously. So that's just a contradiction that I've noticed here. Where it's like even though Sadako is objectively correcting everything that the survivors have bitched about for the past fucking 6 to 8 months in this game, she's objectively correcting all of it. And they're not noticing that because they're still dying. That's what really bothers them. That's what's going to make them chew the killer out. It has nothing to do with how boring she is to play against. It has nothing to do with how oppressive she is. It has nothing to do with the skill cap of Sadako is butchered. That's not what it has to do with. It has nothing to do with any of that fucking crap. It's the fact that they are on the ground having a heart attack because they got the 7 stacks of condemned with 2 gens left, and they don't think that's fair. Even though they neglected her mechanics enough to fucking get to fucking 7 stacks of condemned to die. Right? That's what's really going on here. That's why I have no sympathy for these fucking bitches. And again, when they're actually right, we'll agree with you. But this is a killer that is designed to bounce around with flow. This is a killer that is designed to pressure a team. This is a killer that is designed to go in there and fucking smack teams, get tapes out of the game, actually have a response to the 4v1 pressure that it's designed to have good 4v1 pressure and opposition and counterplay to their counterplay of the tapes. It's like the killer can actually provide decent counterplay to what they're trying to do with her mechanics. But that's bad for survivors. Survivors like when bitch boys trapped at a tile and can't throw at him, right? So that in their mind is a fair situation. When bitch boys rotating around a filler tile or a TL or not a TL, a long wall jungle gym that he can't shoot shit over, they think that's fair game design. They think old Dead Hard, where they could launch fucking 70 feet forward like a fucking missile and you couldn't do anything about it. They thought that was fair game design and get good scrub if you can't deal with it, Legion. Right? That in their mind is fair game design. And it's good game design when they have things like made for this, that they can chain shit together that they shouldn't be chaining. That's good game design to them. And you can't do anything about it because you're M1. That's good game design to them. What's good game design for them is when they get to free deliverance off a hook and that not have to they get free deliverance off the hook after their teammate fucking came in and just worked on a generator, and you as the killer tried to pressure the teammate that wasn't even going to go for the save because they had a reassurance coming up. This is going to be coming in a couple months. And then they just get to jump off the hook free base deliverance because you were right 2 feet in front of them and they don't pause the fucking hook timer. Survivors think good game design is when you're on Gideon Meat Plant and they pre-drop pallets and you can't hit them, and then the guy you hooked on the second floor gets off the hook, Deliverance is off base kit when you're on the first floor and not even face camping. That's what survivors think good game design is. It's terrible. You cannot listen to these people. They are legit fucking SJWs, and they don't know what they're doing. Like, that's the kind of like, I bring that up because they're like, that's the kind of level these people are at, where it's like you'll never appease them. No matter what you do, no matter how much you just objectively corrected everything they've been complaining about for the past 8 months with Sadako, it doesn't matter. They're dead. Sadako's a strong killer. That's not what they want. They want hit and run to come back on a killer that can't use it. Right? Hit and run is only healthy when it's on bottom 3 Wraith. When you buffed Wraith 20 times and he was a top 10 character for a couple months and he was really fucking fun and really fluid and really his plays had a certain coherency to get, and he was able to get a good flow going. That's when he was a wee bit OP, remember? And nobody liked him. Yeah. Trash. So as you can see, these people that talk about skill and objective game design don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? It's about the fact that they just got thrown on a hook and got killed. Okay? The killer can compete with 4-man Swift. This is one of their best designed killers in a long time, IMO. Because she can compete with the fucking top level. She doesn't beat them. She doesn't beat them. Not at all, she doesn't beat them. Top percent Swift, she doesn't beat. Okay? And it's like, they're like, and like, you have to fucking actually, like, there's enough grounds for this where it's like, it's not just like free value. It's not just free value. Skull Merchant, you legit go to a fucking gen and put a drone up and it's the freest fucking thing in the world. This killer has to teleport, sometimes mid-chase, refine their target to hope the target didn't fucking notice, and the killer has to hit people to get the value. The killer can also build up stacks quicker if the survivors choose to not interact with her, which is another good thing she has, not a bad thing. If the survivors are going to choose stealth and non-interaction, they deserve fast condemned build-up. Abso-fucking-lutely. Get your ass out there and interact with the killer. You claim that's that's the best part of the game, everybody, about how you want to interact with the killer so fucking bad, and that's why tunneling's a problem, because it means every member of the team doesn't get to interact with the killer, right? So what the fuck you hiding for? If you try to not interact with the killer and she can put fucking two condemned stacks on you in the span of about 40 seconds, fantastic. Stealth counterplay. But again, that's not good game design because they can't just sit in the bush on Dead Dog and and win. Survivors, they think interacting is hiding in a bush and watching you pass them because you didn't know they were there. They think they outplayed you there when they're Claudette and hiding in a bush, right? They think they just outplayed you. Or when you plock over with plot twist and you can't hear their grunts or see their blood, and then they pop up again. They think they just outplayed you, even though you didn't even really interact. I don't know. I could keep going, but I think you guys see my point on this shit. Survivors are trash. Is always my point. So, like, that all being said, and like the developers need to ignore this shit, Patrick's gone, and he's not there at the company telling them that. So expect this character to get nerfed in maximum 3 months. I think it's going to come before that, because if she could actually compete with Swift, that means she's bullying pubs, right? Quote unquote. That means she's quote unquote bullying pubs. If she can compete with Swift, that means they're going to say they overtuned her. So she expect her to get nerfed in like a month. Seriously. This shit isn't staying in the game. Use her now. My only advice to you is use her now, because we know it's not staying. You might want to say, well, Rosie, try to use other stuff to keep her in the game longer. No, this isn't staying. This is leaving the game in like a month. So this is your chance. If you would like to show Swift who the fuck is boss, this is your killer to do it. Of course, you could always just pick one of the top tiers. But like, if you've ever been like if you've ever wanted to show Swift that an adequate buffs to some of these low tier killers would actually make them fucking die, this is the killer to do it. Because they took a low tier and buffed her to A tier. This is your chance to pick up a character that was low tier last week and beat Survive with Friends. This is a chance you don't get often as killer. This is why you should be playing Sadako a lot. And you should play her until the devs get rid of her. Seriously. Because this is the kind of shit we need more of. So if you pick, like, I think I might exclusively be playing her till the nerf goes in. Like, it's legit fantastic. Now, I say that now, but I probably won't because I have to play the shit game design, so nobody else has to. But, like, if you're an every person, I would lay off the other killers. You're not going to have this opportunity in 2 months. So, do it now. Alrighty, lads, that's all I got to say. I'm getting the hell out of here. GG's.